In modern-day America, the public schooling system is responsible for educating the vast majority of students at elementary, middle, and high school grade levels. However, there are many alternative schooling options available, which range anywhere from privatized schooling to homeschooling. Though the number of alternatives to public schooling is high, when compared to the quality and effectiveness of the public schooling system and its methods, the various alternatives could be considered less effective, equally effective, or even more effective. Under this interpretation, the various alternative methods can be grouped according to how they compare with the public schooling system. During my research, I encountered one such method, which is known as the Waldorf method of education. This method is used in various specialized Waldorf schools across the world, and there are over 150 Waldorf schools in North America alone. After narrowing my subject of research to the topic of Waldorf education as an effective alternative to the public schooling system, I looked further into what makes the Waldorf method stand out. I discovered 3 specific aspects of Waldorf education that give it an advantage over other alternative schooling options. First, students in a typical Waldorf school receive considerably more individualized attention and care than students in a typical public school would. There are many things that occur in a Waldorf school to make this happen. The 2 most important facts are that a group of around 30 students is made into a class beginning in first grade, and that a specific teacher is assigned to each class and continues to teach the main lesson for that class for all 8 elementary and middle school years. Second, the Waldorf schools are known for having a supportive and friendly environment that is beneficial to the education of the students. This environment is created and maintained in much the same way that personal student attention is. Because the average student stays in the same class of students and learns the lessons from the same teacher for 8 years, the student naturally comes to feel comfortable and safe in their school and will learn more easily as a result. The final and perhaps most important aspect of Waldorf education is its focus on developing the student's artistic ability in relation to their other skills. All Waldorf students begin to learn to express themselves artistically from the first grade onwards, and do so in various ways, ranging anywhere from painting and sketching to even woodworking and metalworking in high school. The one definite advantage that a Waldorf graduate has over a graduate of a public school is that they are guaranteed to have artistic experience and an appreciation for art in general. After considering these 3 points and reflecting upon the results of my research, I came to the conclusion that the Waldorf method of education is equally as effective as the traditional method, and may even have certain advantages that the public school system does not. By the time I had completed my service learning placement, I had experienced a new perspective of how education occurs. I was placed at the Discovery Center of Springfield, a science education center geared towards students but educational for visitors of all ages, under the supervision of Lori Duncan, the Director of Education for the center. In order to get a better understanding of what the Discovery Center is, I asked Mrs. Duncan for her explanation.
The Discovery Center is a place for people of all ages to have a positive experience with science and culture, to do science, not just hear about it.
After asking her about the Discovery Center's mission, she responded,
The purpose of the Discovery Center is to give the average non-science person access to current relevant science concepts, to have a chance to experience science without having to decide whether, have somebody else tell them whether it's right or wrong, but to have fun with it and to have those aha moments where they learn something on their own and discover something new.
During the 25 hours I spent at the Discovery Center, I did a wide variety of things, both of great and small significance. My biggest and most important task was to evaluate the Everybody Eats exhibit, a traveling exhibit that was not directly created by the center. I was asked to look over each part of the exhibit to try to find plausible ways to improve upon the level of interactivity, a defining characteristic of the DCS, in order to make the exhibit more educational, engaging, and fun. In addition to my work on improving Everybody Eats, I also completed odd jobs around the center, worked as an assistant to an instructor of a 30-minute workshop, and helped the staff on a free day, a day when admission is free of charge and hundreds of people flood the center. Though the work I did wasn't always simple, I felt that I was truly making a difference to the staff of the Discovery Center and helping the center itself become even more educational. Though there is no direct public relationship between the Discovery Center and Waldorf schools, there are several important connections and disconnections between the two. First, it is important to note that both Waldorf schools and the Discovery Center are institutions designed to educate students in a way that is not normally used in a public school setting. Though it would not be accurate to describe the DCS as a specific alternative to the public schooling system, it does function as another source of education that can be experienced by a student at the same time that they are attending a public school. This means that Waldorf schools and the DCS are fundamentally different when it comes to their relationship with the public school system. The Discovery Center is designed to supplement what is learned in public school, while a Waldorf school is designed to take the place of a public school and educate students in a separate way. Second, both Waldorf Education and the DCS highly value learning through physical interaction. Both a DCS employee and a Waldorf educator would argue that people in general learn about subjects more effectively by doing things like experiments or games rather than listening to a teacher or reading. However, either side believes this because of a different reason. Waldorf Education values interaction as a result of Rudolf Steiner's philosophies, while the DCS does so only because it finds the method effective when trying to convey messages to visitors. When I asked Lori about the importance of interaction in the Discovery Center's educational strategy, she told me,
"We really believe and try very hard to have the majority of our exhibits be about doing. There is so much research, brain-based learning, that shows that people really learn best by doing. You really understand it, and you internalize it, and you remember it more when you have had a chance to really physically interact with something and do it and make it accomplish something, rather than just read about it or hear about it. When you actually do it, you have more ownership of the learning experience."
Third, although the size and scope of these institutions differ, I have noticed throughout my research and my service placement that the two do share common resource problems. Though their funds come from different places, both the DCS and the majority of Waldorf schools in North America seem to be underfunded and understaffed. Throughout the time when I assisted the DCS staff during its free admissions day, I noticed that there was an extremely large amount of people occupying every room in the center, but there were only 1 or 2 staff members on hand in only the main rooms, and they were all constantly busy overseeing the operation of the most popular exhibits. After asking Mrs. Duncan if the Discovery Center usually has enough funding to do everything it would like to do, her response was,
"Absolutely not." Funding is a constant need for us. We are a not-for-profit. We do not receive any funding from city, state, county, federal, anywhere. We exist completely because of through the door admissions. We do have to charge a fee for people to come in. We have programs that we take out into the community. We would love to deliver those free of charge, but we can't. We do need to pay our staff. They kind of like that. And then exhibits are very, very costly. And so to keep up on things, we rely on private sponsorships, donors. We do a lot of fundraising events to try to keep the museum current and keep things new. We don't ever want to be a place where people see it once and feel like they've seen everything there is to do. And so it is a constant battle. We never have enough money to do everything that we need to do or want to do. So fundraising is an ongoing challenge for us.
The situation in many Waldorf schools is similar to the Discovery Centers. Teacher shortages are common, but because most Waldorf schools are completely privatized and receive little to no state or government funding, there simply isn't enough money for the school to both hire more teachers and keep the school running. The Waldorf situation is worsened by the fact that Waldorf teachers need to be specially trained for their jobs, which reduces the pool of available teachers even further. In order to resolve their financial issues, both the DCS and Waldorf Education would benefit from seeking other means of income, such as requesting federal or state aid, and looking for ways to lessen expenses. Fourth and finally, the DCS and Waldorf schools both attempt to provide students with a learning experience that has more personal meaning and importance. One of the aspects of Waldorf education that makes it unique is that the curriculum is designed to educate students in ways that make the most sense to them and helps them to learn in their most natural way. Rudolf Steiner believed that education should not be about the subject, school, or teacher. Rather, education should be about the students and what the subjects taught in class can do to help them. As a result of Steiner's belief, today's Waldorf schools attempt to create an atmosphere of wholeness that provides students with more than just facts or ideas. In a similar vein to Waldorf schools, the DCS also aims to provide visitors with a unique experience that will help them to learn scientific concepts in a more meaningful way. Every exhibit is designed to let the visitor interacting with it make their own guesses about what is happening and provides information about the exhibit, usually after asking a question about it first. This way of conveying information allows the person receiving it to think about things for themselves and come to their own conclusions, which results in greater comprehension and an increased interest in the information. Both the DCS and Waldorf schools see the value in this way of learning, and both strive to help students and visitors alike experience it for themselves. Though Waldorf Education and the Discovery Center are very different kinds of institutions, they share a common passion for education. Just as visitors to the Discovery Center are seeking a unique and fun learning experience, so do parents send their children to attend Waldorf schools. It is true that there are many procedural and structural differences between the two, but fundamentally their functions are the same: to educate individuals in a meaningful and intuitive way. At the conclusion of my research of Waldorf education and of my service placement at the Discovery Center, I felt the same spirit of learning at the heart of either one. After experiencing this both indirectly and in person, I firmly believe that such a spirit of natural education is something that every place of learning should embrace and maintain.